Guys, and welcome to my first What If. What if Deku was Captain America, a Avengers story, part 1. So, in the comments, don't give me hate. And don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. And let's get into the story. So, our story starts off with Izuki Midoriya and his parents hiding. Also, his best friend, Todoroki. They were all hiding in a bunk underneath their house. And there's soldiers that are entering the house, and they're saying, "Anybody here?" And these soldiers are Hydra soldiers, and Deku, he's a skinny kid, and he doesn't have enough strength to fight and to be a soldier. And at age 15, you're meant to be a soldier, but he's too skinny. Todoroki, he's applying, and yeah. So the soldiers go into the bunker and they kidnap all of them, and then they reveal themselves as SHIELD agents, and they were looking for people who were under attack or something. So they put them into this underground mall, and yeah. So Izuku, he wakes up because they put this neural, and they told Todoroki and his parents, so Deku was the last one to wake up. And then he said, "Then why did he kidnap us? You should have just told us." And then the SHIELD agents are like, "It's not our job. It's Mr. SHIELD who runs this company, and they told us to look for people, and we looked for you, and yeah, we found you." And then we see this guy with an eye patch. His name is called Mr. SHIELD. God, it was just my battery. So we see this eye patch guy called SHIELD, and he says, "I'm SHIELD, and we've been looking at you for the past few years. You're a skinny kid, but you have desire to become a hero, don't you?" And Todoroki's like, "Oh my gosh, you're actually gonna become a hero, Deku." And he says, "I got this other scientist. His name is Katsuki, and he's a very famous man, and he helps people with medical issues, and he puffins up muscles. And do you want to try this? Because we need some people on the field." And Deku, with no hesitation, says, "Yes, I want to help people who are in danger." And SHIELD says, "All right then kid, by 2 months you'll be going to Howard Katsuki." And then Deku says, "All right." So Deku, he goes 2 months later. They told him where to go. So they run tests, and then he has to go into this tube. Todoroki wanted to go, and then he realized that it hurts, and Deku told him that it's going to hurt, and it's gonna hit your muscles more harder. And then Todoroki says, "Oh, okay, I'm not gonna do it. I'm alright with my muscles." And Deku's like, "Okay." And then he hops into the machine, and a bright light forms inside, and then they open it, and Deku, he's passed out. 2 hours later, he looks down below himself, and he sees he's got a 12-pack. And he's like, "It worked." And then they start doing other tests, like, can you jump more higher, run faster, and he aces them. It's like Aizawa's test, but more easier. And it's for humans, not for people with quirks. So yeah. So Deku, he says, but if I'm gonna be a soldier, I have to kill, but I don't want to kill. Because I will be the same bad person as the people who killed other children like me. And then Shield's like, how about I give you a shield? As you're one of our first subjects for this super soldier serum, I guess. And then Deku said, sure, I can be a representing shield, I guess, with a shield. Give the Japanese hope. And in this one, Deku is actually American. So, and during the war, he moved. And yeah. And he now learns Japanese, so he's gonna call himself Captain America. And yeah. And he's the new face for Japan. And he helps out soldiers. And then he actually goes properly and he starts fighting Hydra agents. And yeah, and then there's this one mission, and actually Todoroki is now a soldier. He's been training with Deku, but he's not the same limit because he took a super serum. They are fighting the Hydra agents just for gold that they stole from the for the medical needs to the ruler. And so they are fighting them, and Deku, he's learnt this new move that he can throw his shield and it comes back to him like a boomerang. And he starts doing tricks and he starts flipping and punching people. And yeah, Todoroki, he's using gun and he's shooting everywhere. And they also have men behind them, soldiers and females. And they are all firing their weapons, killing other Hydra agents. And yeah, so they get the gold, and Deku gives it all to Todoroki. So Todoroki can get quicker to the base because he's more silent than Deku, as Deku's now more bigger, and Deku's trying to shield him. So Deku, he jumps on a plane, on a bridge, and they all jump in the train. And it's like if you play GTA 5, you know there's a train where it has the place where you can stand on, and yeah, that's basically where they landed on. And Todoroki, he was last, so he jumps, and then one Hydra agent gets a sword, and then he slashes his hand, and Deku, he literally tries to grab Todoroki, and he says, I'm not leaving you. And then Todoroki's like, please go. And then he tries to give him the gold, but he drops off from the bridge and from the train and collapses into a river. And Deku, he feels like he's just failed. And then he throws his shield straight at the man who did it. And then the man dies because he cut him in half. And it comes back to him. Just like Mjolnir. So Deku, he's angry of himself. And he say, it's all my fault. And then all the soldiers, they come to him, Deku, and they give him a warm hug that everything's gonna be alright. And yeah, so they jump off from the train and they go to the base. They tell Shield and Todoroki's parents that are very old and they're dying in the hospital beds that he has died, but they haven't found the body, so he could be alive, but it's highly doubted because he lost his arm. And yeah, so Deku, he put a tracker on one of the Hydra agents that fled away, and that one went to the original Hydra base, and he was talking to this guy called Red Skull, and no, actually, it's not Red Skull. All for one. So, not all for one, but in this one, I'm saying that he took a type of serum, but it actually gave him a quirk, and it was by rats. So a rat bit one for all, and now he's leading Hydra, and yeah. And at this point, nobody has a quirk, and you're gonna see why, and people are gonna get quirks later on in the what if. So, and Deku, he's listening with all of the SHIELD agents, and they're saying, you know that we need to go there, but it's only 12 of us. And Deku's like, okay, then we have to go to America to get more soldiers, and also England. So they take a boat, and it's been 4 months, and they've now got at least 100,000 soldiers, and they're all taking jets and boats straight to the Hydra base, where All For One is. And Deku doesn't really know his quirk. He's just saying, I got kind of a super serum called a quirk. And yeah, and that Hydra agent that fled was the one that gave Deku that he doesn't have a quirk in the original one. And that was him when he was younger. And yeah, roughly the same age as Deku at that time. And yeah, the one with the moustache, the doctor, he was the one who fled away. So they head there, and they're hiding in the forest around the Hydra base, and they've got snipers, and they start shooting the security cameras. And then Deku, he goes stealth mode, literally. He gets the Captain America's Winter Soldier suit, and he starts taking down some Hydra agents that in a stealth mode. And then he calls out a signal where he puts up his fist, and then all firearms go, grenades, guns, it's just a whole mess. And then they start blowing tanks, and then they start dropping mini nukes. And then Deku, he jumps inside the base, and he starts fighting soldiers by literally karate chopping them. He starts doing backflips, front flips. He starts punching in the chest and making them vomit. And he's literally just kicking them. And then there's this kind of hot lava part. And Deku, he's fighting on the bridge. And then he sees a man with a suit. This man is all for one. And he's like, so you must be the face of SHIELD, huh? Look how small you are. You little old bastard. And Deku says, I ain't a bastard. I am a hero. And he starts throwing his shield straight at him. But All For phases, and he's like, you have to try even more harder. I got powers. And that's what makes me more powerful than anybody. I am a god among men, among humanity. And then Deku was like, is that right? And then he throws a grenade, and it explodes a bit of Wonderful's mask, and then Wonderful can't breathe at this moment because Deku just exploded a bit of his face, and a bit of his eye came off. And he's like, I can't see. And then Deku's like, oh, you can't see? Then he starts smashing his shield onto his face. And then Deku, he gets pushed to the side by All For One through these computers, and it says, rats, go into the nuke. And then Deku's like, nuke? Quirks, go into the nukes. And it's rats, yeah, but inside, in their DNA, they have quirks. And if they bat a human, they'll give their children the quirks. And then Degu's like, quirks? Is that... I've heard about that in a comic book, and that's what they call powers. And was he gonna give them to normal soldiers? I have to give this to kind of, I think, the shield heroes. Because I'm not gonna be here all my life, am I? And he's thinking outside the box now. And I want All For One, he says, you really think you're gonna stop me from sending all these rats? No. I'm going to rule an army of my kind. And he starts punching Deku in the mouth. And Deku, he's like, oh, is that right? And then his shield literally just cuts. It literally cuts All For One's ribs. Like, it chops him. Yeah. And All For, he's kind of regenerating. And Deku's like, what the hell? And then Deku, he's like, I have to get into the jet. And the jet is holding no, actually it's a cargo plane, and it's holding a nuke. And Deku, he's like, I have to drop it in Shield's place. Maybe the good side of Japan, because half of Japan is the Hydra, and then, yeah. But Deku doesn't know that the rats are going to spread around the world, and yeah. So he goes into the jet, and he's finished regenerating. He tries to just grab his cargo, but Deku puts super rockets, and he flies off. And then Deku realizes that he doesn't have any what's it called again? Fuel, so he can't land or anything. So he instead just drops the nuke in a part of the good Japan and part of the bad Japan. And give the good side of the Japan quirks. And it drops, and the whole place is just full of rats, just biting humans minute after minute. And Jacob's like, what the hell? And then he's like, oh, I can't land, but I'm so close to the edge of Japan. And then he sees this iceberg. So he's like, and then Shield is like, kid, are you coming back? And then he's like, not for long, but I just want to say, I think we're winning. And then he just crashes into the iceberg, and it freezes the cargo instantly. We skip, and then Deku sees a bright light, but he just goes back to sleep. And then he wakes up. He's in a hospital bed, but he doesn't know what it is. Then he sees all these ropes of blood onto him, and then he sees this heating thing, and it's making him hot, and he's like, oh gosh, I'm sweating all over the place. Where am I? Oh my gosh. And he sees a man with a snake head, and he's like, oh my gosh. And he gets out of the hospital, and he's like, where the hell am I? I'm not at home. Am I in Hydra's base? And he starts panicking, and then he goes into the middle of Tokyo, and then he sees street lights, and he's like, what? No bombings? What's this? I'm in heaven? And then he sees, oh my but skinny form, and he's like, you must be. Actually, it's not All Might, it's Night Eye. Actually, Night Eye, All Might, and Militia Shield's dad, Mr. Shield. And let me say that Mr. Shield was his great-great-grandfather. And so, yeah. So, like, he sees them coming towards him, and they're like, so, he finally woke up. It's been like 100 years. I think it was like 100 years. Where am I? And he says, you're in the middle of Tokyo, Japan. And he's like, what? Tokyo? It's changed. And then All Might, he's in the skinny form because the fight before All for One happened earlier where Nana was. And so basically there was no simple peace, so it's just bad. And then Night Eye and All Might tell him that things have gone bad and Hydra's gone because of you. That you've actually helped the soldiers getting quirks, powers. And he's like, how come I remember that word, quirks? And he remembers everything. That Todoroki died and everything. And he's like, I'm in the future. And then All Might says, I went in a fight with All for One, and I don't know how you beat him as a super soldier, even though you don't have really a quirk. It's kind of the same thing as a quirk, but much more different and much more safer than a rat. And he's like, and then Deku starts laughing, and he says, so we won Hydra. Then why am I still here? And he says, you've been frozen for like past 100 years. Did you not get it? Like, around has changed. And people have quirks, especially that guy you saw with a snake head. And Deku's like, okay, then where's Shield? And then I says, oh, where's Shield now? It's transferred to Mr. Shield after his great-grandfather. And we're a secret organization for heroes. And Deku sees he sees Kamumi Woods, I guess, just swinging. He's like, hey, there's a monster. And then he's got his shield with him, so he tries to throw it, and then All Might stops him, say, you shouldn't do that. He's a hero and he helps everyone. And then they chat for 2 hours in the middle of the street, and Deku, he says, okay, then where am I going to live? And he says, then Night Eye says, oh, you're gonna live with your cousin. And then he says, my cousin, you mean, let me say, Happy. Yeah, I'll just say, my cousin Happy's, yeah, his great daughter. Yeah, she's like 30, and you're gonna be staying with her. And Dick is just, okay. But, and then the first question he says is Todoroki alright? Did he really survive? Did he find his body? And then Night says, no, we haven't found his body. Then we skip, and this is the point where, and then, no, actually, Deku, he sees Iron Man instead of, Kamui Woods. He sees Iron Man, but played as Bakugo. And yeah, flying instead of Kamui Woods, so yeah. So, he trains for the 9 months to go to UA, so he can become a hero like he once was as a soldier. And he trains his life out, so he's more muscular than normal. People think he's like a 25-year-old, but he's actually a 15-year-old. So he applies for the recommendation from All Might, and he joins. So yeah, and we're going to stop it right there, I guess. So please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, send me down in the comments who should I ship him with, and see you guys on the next video.